everyone.
We are the group 5.
And today we are going to discuss to you
What is linguistics?
and how it is related to social time.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
But there are more subfields of linguistics, such as social linguistics, psycholinguistics, neurolinguistics, historical linguistics, and etymology. Social linguistics is the study of language used in relation to society, which focuses on concepts such as speech communities, language prestige, and social networks. An example of social linguistics is the study of Spanish and English being spoken together as Spanglish. Psycholinguistics is the study of language in the mind, which focuses on the acquisition, use, comprehension, and production of language in the mind. For example, a psycholinguist might study how children acquire the sounds of their first language to the exclusion of all other possible human speech sounds. Neurolinguistics is the study of the neurology that controls the acquisition, use, comprehension, and production of language in the brain, which includes such topics as the location of language processes in the brain, the relationship between language acquisition and brain structures, and language disorders and breakdowns. For example, a neurolinguist might study how the brain stores and retrieves all the words a person knows. Historical or diachronic linguistics is the study of language change over time, which includes describing and explaining changes in languages over time, studying the history of words, reconstructing the histories of languages to explain related languages, and developing theories about language change. Etymology is the study of the history of words, which focuses on the changes to the form of a word over time, the changes to the meaning of a word over time, and when a word entered a language. For example, the word linguistics derived from the Latin word lingua, which means tongue.
Phonetics. What is phonetics? Phonetics is a branch of linguistics that focuses on the production and classification of the word's speech sounds. The production of speech looks at the interaction of different vocal organs, for example, the lips, tongue, and the teeth, to produce particular sounds. There are three areas of study of the phonetics. The first one is articulatory phonetics, the second one is acoustic phonetics, and the third one is auditory phonetics. Let's start off articulatory phonetics. What is articulatory phonetics? Articulatory phonetics is study of how and where speech sounds are produced in the human speech organs. So basically, articulatory is the study of the physical production via the vocal organ of speech sounds. So move on to the next one. The second one is acoustic phonetics. What is acoustic phonetics? Acoustic phonetics deals with capturing and description of sound signals as it's produced and perceived. So basically, acoustic phonetics is the study of the physical properties of speech as sound waves in the air. Now, let's move on to the auditory phonetics. Auditory phonetics is the perception of sounds or the way in which sounds are heard or interpreted. Those other important participants in verbal communication are what we call the listener. Phonology. What is phonology? Phonology is focused on how speech sounds can change and behave when in a syllable word or a sentence. So what is the difference between phonetics and the phonology? Phonetics deals with the production of speech sounds by humans without prior knowledge of language being spoken. And phonology is about patterns of sounds, especially different patterns in a different language. Let's move on to the next topic, morphology. What is morphology? Morphology is a branch of linguistics that are one of the major components of the grammar. It also studies word structures, especially regarding morphemes. So what is morpheme? Morpheme is a short segment of language that meets three basic criteria. It is a word or a part of a word that has meaning. It cannot be divided into a small or meaningful segments without changing its meaning or leaving a meaningless remainder. Morphemes that are smallest units of meaning in a language. They are commonly classified as either free morphemes, which can occur as a separate words, or bound morphemes, which can stand alone as words. Syntax. What is syntax? Syntax is a grammatical structure of words and phrases to create a coherent sentences. What does syntax mean? Syntax is the grammatical structure of a sentences. The format in which words and phrases are arranged to create the sentences is called syntax. For example, the boy jumped happily. The boy happily jumped. Happily, the boy jumped. So syntax is a sentence constructor.
Lastly, let's talk about how linguistics is connected to our society.
Linguistics are connected to the society. We have four assumptions of relationship between society and language. First, we have language can influence the society. Sa pananalita pa lang natin is doon natin nakikita kung anong klaseng level ba meron ng isang tao. If it is a well-educated person or not, and kung ito ba ay may good manners when it comes in speaking. Like in squatters area, some of them, the way they speak is very different from a person who is not in that area. Or sabihin natin yung batang lumaki sa isang ganong klaseng environment compare sa batang lumaki sa isang good environment sa mga villages, private subdivisions. And number 2, we have society can influence the form of language. From generation to generation, there is a changes in our way of delivering the language. For example, our ancestors, ang pananalita noon is more poetic and formal. But in our generation, which is us, nasanay tayo ng very informal to the point na nasusurpass yung age difference. Example if you are from Philippines and nasa US ka ngayon, hindi ka naman pwedeng magsalita ng Tagalog doon kasi pag nagsalita ka ng Tagalog doon is hindi nila maintindihan yung meaning ng sinasabi mo. Iba yung dating sa kanila nung word na yun dahil hindi naman yun yung ginagamit mo doon. And ikaw ay mag-a-adjust sa kung anong language ang ginagamit nila. And another example is kapag ang teacher na ikipag-usap sa kapwa teacher ay iba compare sa pakikipag-usap ng teacher sa student. Kasi kapag teacher to teacher, parehas sila ng educational attainment. But kapag student to teacher, kailangan i-level ng mga teacher yung sarili nila sa edad and sa mental capacity ng understanding ng isang student or ng bata. Number 4, there is no relationship between language and society. Example dito is kapag nagmura ka ba, wala ka na agad pinag-aralan? Kapag nag-gay linggo ka ba, bakla ka na? And just like it doesn't mean na kapag nag-i-English ka, ay automatically well-educated person ka na. In short, language is a good indicator but doesn't define you and your entire character. 4 perspectives to discuss the relationship of language and social factors. First, gender differences. Iba ang understanding ng women from men. For example, if ang babae nagkikrave, gets na ng kapwa niya babae na it's that time of the month, or which we call menstruation. Sa lalaki naman, we are so brief, di na natin hilig mag-elaborate. Hindi tayo specific and direct to the point tayo, kaya nakaka-offend ito minsan. So if men and women are to talk to each other, parehas tayong may pinanggagalingan and parehas tayong may character and prone tayo sa misunderstanding. Number 2 is community differences. Example, like sa isang community, when they talk about to each other, like gossip, sharing opinions and news, or for example, tuwing hapon, lumalabas ka ng bahay mo sa isang community, tuwing hapon na ikipagkwentuhan ka sa iyong kapitbahay, sa mga neighborhood, and in that case, nagkakaroon kayo ng influence sa each other. Nagkakaroon kayo ng sharing opinions, ideas. And another example is if you have another dialect. Like my family, taga Bicol kami, we use some words na if we use it sa ibang lugar, iba ang nagiging meaning noon.
Relationship in terms of cultural differences. What do you mean by cultural differences? Cultural difference involves the integrated and maintained system of socially acquired values, beliefs, and rules of conduct which impact range of accepted behavior distinguishable from one societal group to another. People are distributed in a different geographical environments. They need to understand, adapt, and transform their geographic environments therein constantly. Economical differences. Language is first and foremost an information carrying function. Being able to express ideas in language allows human beings to remember the past, organize the present, and plan the future. Language allows individuals to negotiate with each other, to cooperate